I'm going to get all in your business about whether or not you truly are ready for the person you're saying you want to be in a relationship with. And some of you may find that you're not. You will count yourself out of what you desire and what you really deserve if you don't reconcile with those things before you go into a relationship. Because here's the thing. I don't care what relationship you go into. If you are not fully aware of yourself and your identity, there are going to be some problems. Welcome. If you are here, you somehow came across this course. I don't know how, maybe Instagram, Facebook, my website, word of mouth. I don't know, but I'm glad that you are here. And if you're here, I'm assuming that you are single and you are looking for some support in your dating life. Now, let me tell you something about me. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Deidre Reed, and I am a professional matchmaker and dating and relationship coach. And so I see people all the time come into the dating process and they're just not prepared for the success that they desire. We can desire success all day long, but if we're not prepared for it, we will never achieve it. It's just not going to happen. Preparation is necessary. And that is what I call being two kinds of ready for love. You have to be ready in the sense that you desire it, and you have to be ready in the sense that you are prepared. So we are jumping right into this course today with an intro, and then you'll be able to tap right into lesson 1, session 1, whatever you want to call it, to get started. Now, I highly recommend and strongly encourage you to go get something to take notes with if you don't already have something. Pen and paper, a journal, a notepad, a iPad, a tablet, whatever it is, because there's a lot of information here and you're going to want to make sure you are taking notes. So I'm going to do my best to give you the meat and potatoes as quickly as possible. But, as robust as possible too, okay? Making sure you get all the details that you need. And another thing about me, I can't do stuffy. I can't do stiff. I just can't. So you're going to get some animation. You're going to get me speaking in this manner, and you will get me dropping a little slang. I'm from Southeast Georgia, so a little country is going to come out here and there. Okay. I'm right here in this Gullah Geechee community. So, it might sound a little wonky or weird to you. Listen. Bear with me. I am who I am. I embrace all parts of my personality. I love me. And you are going to get to know a little bit of me throughout the course of this course. So let's get into it. What has your dating life been like? I can imagine it's been probably a few different ways, right? You've been dating the same person over and over again. Same person, different outer shell, but seriously, the same person. Same mannerism, same characteristics, same attitude, same backstory, all the things. Or you've been maybe completely dating across the board and a little bit of here and a little bit of there, but still yet nothing's producing. You're not yielding any fruit from these relationships. Maybe you're not dating at all because you've given up on love. You're tired of the dating scene. You're tired of the dating world. You're over it. And it's just too much work. It's frustrating. You don't understand why it keeps happening to be the same thing. You keep experiencing the same issues, mistrust and dishonesty and infidelity in relationships. I don't know. But what I do know is if you're here, again, it's likely because you're single and you want to end that cycle of being single. You want to end that cycle of singleness and you want to find your person and you want to hold on to them. Trust me, I get it. I'm there with you. So we're going to talk through some stuff that's going to help you make sure that you're in position for that to happen. Now, one of the things we have to do before we jump into any of this is to talk about you. Yeah, we got to talk about you. We got to figure out what your story is. We got to know who you are. Because here's the thing. I don't care what relationship you go into. If you are not fully aware of yourself and your identity, there are going to be some problems. The truth is the truth is the truth. There will be some problems if you are not sure of who you are. If you don't know you, you will end up doing things and experiencing things that aren't healthy for you, that aren't good for you, that don't make sense, and that cause you frustration. And you may not even understand why. But once you learn yourself, once you're sure of who you are, once you know your identity, you're going to be better able to, first of all, show up as you. Secondly, communicate who you are to others. And third, make sure that you're partnering with people who can respect who you are and who are aware of your identity as well and who can honor that because you're going to be honoring it. All right. So let's get into figuring out a little bit about who you are. All right. So the first question here is, how well do you know yourself? How much time do you spend with yourself? Like just you with you, and not just like, oh, this is time that I spend alone, because we all spend time alone here and there, right? No matter what the situation may be, if we're just in the car driving or if we're watching TV or if we're, bathing, whatever the case is. But how much time do you actually spend with yourself? How much time do you take and set aside intentionally to learn you, to pay attention to you, to nurture you, to feed yourself? And I ain't talking about food. Okay, I'm talking about emotionally, mentally, spiritually. What does that look like for you? In a lot of cases, when I deal with clients who are the types that never take time for themselves, I find that they are more eager to partner in relationship. They're more eager to find someone to be with them because they're not comfortable being with themselves. And I am of the belief that you have to be comfortable with you before you can ever be comfortable with someone else. Because here's the thing. If you're not comfortable with you, when you find a person, there's going to be this sort of false sense of security that you're going to have because you have someone with you. But you're going to be anxious because you're going to be worried about when that person's going to leave, or what happens when they're not there, or what are they doing when they're not there, right? And what happens to you if they decide to leave you, or if the relationship ends, or you end up staying stuck in a situation that you shouldn't be in because you're just afraid to leave because you don't want to be by yourself. And that is a very, very dangerous place to find yourself in. So I need you to make sure that you get comfortable with yourself if you are not yet there. Okay? We got to love ourselves first before we ever expect to be able to fully love anyone else, or before we ever expect anyone else to be able to fully love us. We're going to get more into that. Here we go. Here's the list of things that I want you to ask yourself. I want you to figure out, I want you to write down about you. In addition to anything else that you come up with or you can think of when it comes to who you are, put that on the list as well. But put these things specifically on your list for sure. Okay? First things, what are your likes and your dislikes? And I ain't talking about your favorite color. I'm not talking about your favorite food. Nah. Now, if you want to talk about why a certain color is your favorite color, why a certain food is your favorite food, okay, why a certain season and time of year is your favorite season and time of year, then definitely go ahead and put those on there, because those things can really speak to you and who you are. Definitely much more than just saying, okay, I like the color pink. Okay, I like Cajun food, or whatever the case is. All right. So make sure whatever you put on here, you're adding some depth to it. You're giving us some why about it if it's something that's kind of surface level, okay? Next thing I want you to make sure you're focusing on is your strengths and your weaknesses. What are your strong suits? What are you good at? What can you do with your eyes closed? It's 3 a.m. Somebody wakes you up. You really don't even have to be fully awake to do it. You can do it. And what is it that no matter how much sleep you've gotten, no matter how much energy you have, it's a struggle for you? What are those things? What are those areas of growth for you? Next, what are your joys and your grievances? What really gives you those positive vibes and feelings? What brings you happiness? And what is it that touches you to your core in a negative way? What bothers you about the world? Maybe it's a social justice issue or some kind of social concern. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just, oh my gosh, poor customer service and just people's treatment of one another. No matter what it is, make sure you put that on paper. What you're going to do with this list is once you finished it, you're going to go back and you're going to evaluate it. And you're going to ask yourself how much these things play into your identity and how they show up in relationships. Because again, you want to know you and you want to be super comfortable with yourself. And you also want to be able to communicate who you are to your partner. And you want them to be able to understand you and to be able to meet you where you are and engage with you from a place of understanding you, right? They might start doing something and you are perturbed, like you are perturbed, okay? You are like, oh my gosh, why are they doing that? And it's getting under your skin and you seem to have this like exaggerated response or a reaction to it. But if they really know you and understand where that comes from, then they won't mistake your response for an exaggeration. And you also will be able to be aware of why this certain thing is bothering you so much, right? Because you know, okay, that's one of my pet peeves. That's one of my grievances. I have an issue with this thing. And this person just triggered that because of this behavior, whatever the case is. And so that helps to cut down issues of miscommunication and misunderstandings in relationships. Because the key is to decrease them as much as possible. The key is to decrease them as much as possible because you will never eliminate them. Things are going to happen. Let me say that again. If you don't hear me say anything else in the next few seconds, hear me. Things will happen in your relationship. Your key is to try to decrease them as much as possible, but you will never eliminate them. We are human. Life is life. We go human and life go life. Okay. So there will be things that come up. There will be things that happen, but you want to be as prepared as possible so that you can decrease them. And there are things that you won't be able to be prepared for. Some stuff just happens. Some stuff comes out of nowhere and there ain't no playbook for it, right? That's just the part of life that's life. But if you are prepared with a set of skills on how to navigate even those unexpected things, then you have a better chance of success. So that is where the preparedness comes in that case. All right, so joys and grievances. Then, what about your purpose and your passions? And let me be clear, this is not a course to help you figure out your purpose in life or to how to turn your passions into your purpose. This is not that course. That is not my lane. I am staying in the love boat. Okay. Purpose is a whole block over town, the other way around the corner. Not my lane. Okay. Now, if throughout the process of this, you run into your purpose, so identify some passions and you do something with it, wonderful, great. I am happy for you. But this ain't that. Okay? This ain't that. But I do want you, if you know your purpose, to make sure you put that on paper. And if you don't know it, that you think about what that might be. And if you're like, oh, I don't believe in having a purpose, that's fine too. Just go ahead and just scrap that. Okay. But do tell me what you're passionate about, because we all have passions. No matter what we believe in, no matter how we identify in this world, we are all passionate about something. Climate change, global warming, people, love, like me, whatever. I don't know. Whatever you're passionate about, make sure you put that to paper. Okay? You want to be able to share these things with a partner. That is how closeness is fostered. That is how people really get to know you and understand you. We can sit here over dinner and talk about, favorite colors and favorite foods all day. Baby, miss me with the small talk, okay? I really want to get to know you. Cool, I like your favorite color is green. All right, great. But tell me what moves you, okay? Tell me your foundations and values. That's the next thing. What are your values? What are your values? What are those things in life that are fundamental to your existence? What are the things that ground you and are the foundation out of which you move and exist, that you do everything? What are your values? As a matchmaker, one of the strongest pieces of information that I have, that I am able to use in partnering and pairing couples, is their values. Those who share similar values or the same value systems have a greater chance of success than those who do not. Those who don't, it's like we're on two different planets. We're coming from two different worlds. And it's tough. But those who are aligned in values, they have similar thought processes. They approach situations similarly. They have similar motivations. and it just works. It helps. Now, it's not the end all be all to everything, because there's so much that goes into the process of matching and chemistry and compatibility and all of that. But values are a very strong indicator, okay, of at least some compatibility. Next, what are your needs? What are your fundamental, basic, bottom of the line needs? We all have different ones. It looks different for us all. What are your needs? End of the day, basic, without anything else, no matter what else, I need this. Okay? Next thing, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but what are your places of growth? And in this way, I mean personal growth. Where, as a person, are you focused on growing right now at this point in life? Or were you hoping to grow in the near future? Were you planning to focus your time and energy so that you can grow? It's okay to need to grow. We all should always be growing. And it's okay to acknowledge that you don't have everything together all the time, that there are some things that you are still working on. I will be the first person to tell you, baby, I am a growth in progress, okay? I am literally a growth in progress. There's so much. Where are you specifically focusing on growing? And I want you to be as detailed as possible in this, because one of the things that you also need to be able to clearly communicate to your partner is where you need a little grace, because we all need grace, okay? We all need grace. And you need to be able to tell your partner, I am currently focusing on, working on, putting effort towards, blase blah. Okay, you be upfront with those things so that your partner is aware, so that they can know, first of all, is this something I can deal with, or if it's not? And if you communicate that up front, if it comes up, then they say, okay, this person already shared with me that they are working on this area. Okay, maybe I can help and support in that, instead of being upset and finding offense in the fact that they aren't where maybe I think that they should be, or where I would expect them to be, or I just wasn't aware that they weren't already at. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is, what are the things in life that have impacted you the most and have had the greatest standing effects, the longest standing effects, the strongest resulting effects? What are those things? What are those events? Negative, positive? This part is really about you learning you getting to know you being comfortable with yourself. Okay? So what are those things, positive and negative, that have had the greatest impacts on you? You need to be aware of these things. If they come up in a relationship, you'll know where they're coming from. You'll know why you feel a certain type of way. You'll know why you tend to gravitate towards certain people. You'll know why you tend to repeat certain behaviors, why you continue pursuing the same relationships, why it seems that you're looking for the same things or answer to the same problem, or you're kind of trying to recreate, a situation because it had some profound impact in your life. And that can help you identify patterns in your dating world, in your dating journey, in your cycles. What's happening and why are they happening? What can you relate them back to? I also want you to figure out what your communication and conflict resolution styles are. If you don't already know them, there are so many tests out there on the interwebs, okay? Go any search engine you want, your favorite one, look up communication style quiz, conflict resolution style quiz. Take a couple of them, because here's the thing. Each one may give you different results or a different explanation of results. You should be getting the same results each time, right? Because your style is your style. But you may get a different explanation from one test to the next. And you may get a little more insight from this one than you do from that one. And why these are important, I feel like it's really obvious. But how you communicate has everything to do with the success of a relationship. How you engage with your partner, how you share what you feel and what you think is super important. And you need to know your communication style. And you need to be able to share with your partner, hey, this is typically how I communicate. So your partner may be expecting you to communicate in one way, but your style of communication is something different. And it's not to say that you can always stick to your style and they can always stick to their style, because sometimes you have to figure out a way to merge those styles to figure out, okay, how can we best communicate for us? This person needs to hear me say these things. This person needs me to approach the situation in this manner. And so you figure out what works best for the two of you, but you have to know what your style is even to be able to get to that point. Then when it comes to conflict resolution, again, in your relationship, stuff will happen and you have to know how to resolve those things. And you have to know what your go-to style of resolution is. There's some people who might want to quickly sweep things under the rug, quickly want to just cover it up. Just boom, bam, it never happened. Or, hey, it happened, let's fix it real quick, real fast, just whatever. Some people might want to argue. Whatever the case is, you need to know what your styles are. And you need to know what you can handle. Because if your partner is coming in a situation one way and that does not work for you, if you guys can't get on one accord with something that works for the two of you, for the relationship, then maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's not worth it. And you'll know that ahead of time. You know that early on. And your partner may not come into the situation knowing all of these things, but these are things that they can also figure out over time. And with you sharing about yourself, that will open the door for them to share about themselves. And if they don't know, to figure out these things for themselves, to be able to share them with you. Okay. So what are your habits and your quirks? Okay, we all have habits. We all have little quirky things about us, even if they're small, right? We might not notice it. You may be somebody who always pulls your hair back. You may always play with your ears or your earrings. You may always crack your knuckles. I don't know. What are your quirks? What are your habits, right? Just be aware of those things, because they can show up in a relationship, and when it comes to building a life and partnering with someone, meshing worlds, right? Sometimes those things may play a factor. So you want to make sure that you are addressing those things with yourself so that when it comes to that point, you know how to navigate them. All right. Now, what do you love most about yourself? And what are you still reconciling with? Now, this one is one of the places I love to sit. We could sit here for a minute, y'all. You gotta love you. Like I talked about in the beginning, I have a really kind of unique and diverse personality. Okay, there are so many sides to me. It's like what's you call the thing, the little Rubik's cube. Okay, there are so many intricate little pieces and parts of me. You can twist it all where there's like a solid face on each side. But also, if you mix that thing up, it could be a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you still got a cube. So I have learned to fall in love with my personality. I used to wonder, like, what's up with me? Because, like, I'm this way, I'm that way. I'm all over the place. Like, what is going on? And who should I be? Am I supposed to be this prim and proper? Or should I not care and be like, whatever the case is, right? Like, I have spent years toiling with the thoughts and ideas of who I am and what does it mean. And one day I really had to come to grips with the fact that I am all of these things. And that is something to love. It makes me who I am. And I really would never, ever, ever, ever want to be anyone else because I really love me. All right. So again, what are those things that you love about yourself? Okay. And then what are you still reconciling with? We all have parts of ourselves that we may not have fully accepted yet. We all have parts of ourselves that we still question or that we still look at with a very critical eye or a curious eye. There are things that we are trying to be okay with about ourselves, even if it's just things that we've done in our past or things that's in our family bloodline or that just are a part of our heritage, whatever it is. What is it that we are reconciling within ourselves? And let me tell you why it is so very important for you to be aware of these things, especially. If you go into a relationship with your insecurities and with self-conscious things on your mind, and if these things are things that you have not reconciled with, you will find it very hard to receive love from someone else. You will find it very difficult to believe someone who's trying to convince you that they love you, that they appreciate you, that they value you, that they accept you as you are, that they adore you, that they admire you, whatever the case is, because you don't feel those things for yourself. And so then we end up running into rejection. You're rejecting that person and their love. We run into mistrust, because how can I really believe you when you say these things? Because I can't even say these things about me. We run into doubt, fear, shame. And all of those things, as we know, can make for a very unhealthy relationship and can really sever the tie between two people. You will count yourself out of what you desire and what you really deserve if you don't reconcile with those things before you go into a relationship. How do you reconcile with them? You first of all acknowledge them. In this list you're going to write these things out. And you are going to figure out why you're still struggling to reconcile with these things. And you're going to figure out what you need to do in order to accept these things. And sometimes it's simply radical acceptance. Okay. For instance, I have stretch marks on my arm, right? They're likely not going anywhere. Now, there's all kinds of creams and things out there that you could use to fade stretch marks and things like that and whatnot, and surgeries, etc. And maybe one day I'll put a little cream on them to see what happens. But these arms are these arms. I don't love that they all stretch marky, but they are. My stretch mark arms don't devalue me. They don't take anything away from me, because I am still worthy and deserving of all things, regardless of if my arms have a little bit of character. And so the thing is, I need you to figure out what those things are that you're still reconciling with, and don't be ashamed to write them down. Don't be ashamed to say them. You cannot, what is it? You can't heal what you refuse to acknowledge. Those things that you hide, you can't heal them. You can't address them. You can't reconcile them. So write them down. Be honest with yourself. And be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. It's okay. We are all human and we all have things about ourselves that we're still reconciling with. I don't care who it is. Your faves have things about themselves that they have to reconcile with. They have things about themselves that they may not absolutely love all the time, that they have to maybe, speak affirmations over themselves about, because they struggle with them. Trust me, we're all human. And we all have these things. No matter how much people seem to have it together or try to convince the world that they have it all together, we all have stuff. All of us. And it's okay. All right. Next. I told y'all I could park it there for a minute. I really could. All right. Next. What is your why in life? What motivates you? What keeps you moving? What gets you going? What determines how and where and why and what and who? What's your why? What motivates you is a big part of who you are. It's a big part of your identity. It speaks to who you've been, who you are, and who you desire to be. Where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. And that's important if you're going to partner with someone, to be able to share with them. Who matters to you most and why? Who is it that you're closest with? And this is important because there is something about those people or that person that makes you feel safe and vulnerable enough with them to allow them to be the closest people in your life or the closest person in your life. That's really what I want you to get to. Not just who they are, but why. Why it's them. What do they possess? What do they show up with? How do they treat you? What do they possess? What don't they do? What do they do that makes them someone that you're okay being close with, that you feel safe with, that you feel supported by, that you feel that you can be honest with, that you can get naked before? The healthiest relationships are those between two people who can take it all off, no matter what. I can bear it all here with you and know that I'm still safe. And when we open this door, the world is not going to see what I've exposed to you because you've got me. You're covering me. What are your life goals? Where do you want to go in life? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What are your fears? What are you afraid of? What keeps you up at night? What worries you? What concerns you? What fears do you have that turn into your motivators? What are you most proud of in life? And what brings you grief? What fuels you and what drains you? What gives you the gas to go, go, go? And what knocks the wind out of you? And as I'm asking you these questions, I hope you're able to see why they are all important in the process of learning yourself to prepare for dating. You need to know when you're approaching the dating scene what's going to fuel you in the process, what types of dates you can go on, what types of interactions you can have to keep yourself in the game versus those types of interactions you can have that's going to knock the wind out of you. It's going to drain you. That's going to make you not want to do this anymore. That when you're in a relationship, you know how to communicate with your partner, those things that give you life and give you breath. Last but not least here, what are you known for? What do people know you for? What do people classify you as? What do they say about you? What's consistent? And not just what you do, but who are you, right? Like, are you known for being the super compassionate person? Are you known for being a giver? Are you known for being helpful? Are you known for being the hothead? Again, you're going to take this list, no matter what it is that you have on this list, and you're going to evaluate it. And you're going to say, who is this person? And is this person ready for a partner? Or does this person have some things that they need to address? We all have things that we need to address. Cheat code. Answer to the question, answer key, not even in the back. It's right here. We all have things that we need to work on. But how much do we need to work on? What do we need to address? How do we need to grow? How do we need to evolve? What do we need to be aware of? And again, that's the whole entire purpose of this course, is to figure out where we're not prepared so that we can get prepared, so that once we have the opportunity for the love of our life to happen to us, we're ready. We're ready. All right. How y'all feeling? How you feeling? How are you feeling? It was a lot. I know you may have even taken a break somewhere in between because it was a lot. It is a lot. And that's cool. I want you to go at your own pace. There is no pressure to just zoom through each of these lessons just because, it's one video. Take your time. Take your time and do what you need to do so that you can get the most out of this course. Now, let's be clear. You are an ever evolving person, just that I was talking about earlier about myself. Okay, so you may not have the answer to all of these things right now, and your answers should and will change over time as you continue to evolve and grow, and that's okay. This should be a continuous thing. Now, also in this, I want you to reflect on your dating habits, right? Your patterns, things that you have noticed about yourself, things that you have seen yourself do over and over again, the same results that you keep getting. Write those things out. Figure out how these people that you've dated have been the same, how they've each been better or worse than the last, and not just the person who they are, but the situation, how it was better or worse for you. And why you ended up in those situations, or how you ended up in those situations, the sequence of the relationship, right? I want you to be aware of all of that. And I want you to write it down. Because again, you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. So throughout the dating process, you're going to pay attention to these things, because if you find yourself engaging in the same behaviors, you're going to know, hey, that didn't work for me before. I don't need to do this. You'll know how you're engaging similarly or different as you go along, and you'll know what to do or where you need to stop or draw the line. Like, okay, this is the same thing I did before. I'm still going for the person who I feel doesn't want a whole lot out of me, but really isn't offering me much. We're not settling for the lazy, the easy. And speaking of that S word, settle, listen, we've got a whole lot to get into when it comes to settling, but that is way later in the course. I think it's like less than 5 or 6. But let me tell you, I'm coming for settling. I'm coming for it. I'm about to light it up for you and let you know what it is and what it ain't. Now, the next part of things that we're going to go into, we're talking about goals. So stay tuned and listen as I explain the importance of having dating and relationship goals. And it's super simple. It's super easy. I feel like it's basic 1, 2, 3, but I'm going to make sure y'all get it because a lot of people don't think about having dating and relationship goals other than I want to get married, or I want a long-term partnership, or I just want something casual that's free and adaptive. People don't think about it outside of that, right? But you have to have goals in order to have success in dating. What happens if you're dating without goals? You're dating aimlessly. And so if you're dating aimlessly, what's going to happen? You're going to wander. Okay? And we don't want to wander, right? Because we're going somewhere. We're being intentional through this process about getting to the place we want to be. So here's a few questions for you to ask yourself when it comes to goal setting for your dating life, starting with why you're even in this course. What do you want out of this course? Why are you taking this course in the first place? What do you want this course to do for you? What do you expect to have or to be able to do at the end of this course? Answer me this. Why do you want to be in a relationship? Or why do you want to find a partner? What type of partner do you want to have? What type of relationship do you want to have? Do you want to get married? Why do you want to get married? What does being married mean for you? What do you want to be true about the relationship you desire? What do you want there to be able to be said about the relationship you desire? With whom do you want to partner? And why is it important for you to partner with that person? And of course, we're not talking about identifying a person by name here. Okay, that is not what we are doing. We are talking about identifying a person in the sense of a persona, in the sense of their characteristics, their qualities, their traits, their values, all of those things. Okay, so with whom do you want to partner? What are you going to do to ensure that you are able to have the type of relationship you desire? Well, one of the things you're doing is starting with this course, so kudos to you. But what else? What else? What else are you willing to do to make sure that you can have the relationship that you desire? Are you really ready for that type of relationship? It could be true that you want to be in a relationship, that you do want to be married, that you do desire that. But right now in this moment, you are not in a space or in the place to actually put forth the effort and the energy it takes to build, nurture, and maintain a relationship. You actually don't want to have to answer your phone all the time or to pick up the phone and have conversation and go on dates to build a relationship. You really don't. You really don't want to have to think about another person like that right now in this moment. Still, yet you do want that at some point, but right now you don't. So maybe you really aren't ready for that relationship. Make sense? And if it doesn't, let me know. I will further clarify for those of you who need it. The point is to ask yourself, are you really ready for it? Not only do you want it, and not only are you getting prepared, but are you really in a place right now to do what it takes to have it? In the sense of preparation, what do you need to do to prepare yourself for the relationship you desire? Again, we're going back to looking at that list about ourselves. We're going back to these questions about goals and what type of relationship we want and the type of partner we want. And we're asking ourselves, okay, well, what do I need to do to be ready for the type of relationship? And y'all, we are going to get more into that as well later in the course. I'm going to get all in your business about whether or not you truly are ready for the person you're saying you want to be in a relationship with. And some of you may find that you're not. And that's okay, because that's why we are here. Because I want to make sure that you are really ready for the person that you want to be in a relationship with, and that you're clear about that. Because you may think you're clear right now about the type of person you want to be in a relationship with, But by the time we're done, that may change. It may change. But for now, go ahead and write down what comes to mind. Okay. And you'll be able to look back on it as we go through to see how that has changed or stayed the same. Next thing, how much time are you willing to commit to the dating process to achieve the relationship you desire? Again, what I was just talking about. Are you really ready to put forth that effort and that energy and that time to actually achieve what you say you want? All right, now after you've answered these questions, I want you to write a 3-sentence statement about where you are and where you want to go and what you're willing to do to get there. Okay? And so here's an example of what that might look like. I am taking this course because I want to be sure that I know the appropriate way to approach the dating process so that I can devote one night a week to finding the guy who will partner with me in faith and love to pursue our purpose together. When we find one another, I want to be able to show up fully in a relationship as a healthy, healed, and whole woman so that I do not jeopardize things before they have a chance to grow. I hope to be able to identify a partner who is in the same place and who is also willing to do the work to ensure the success of our relationship. Now, yours can look like whatever it needs to look like. You can say what you need to say. It's going to be according to your goals. But I just kind of want you to kind of give a summation of overall what it is that you have in mind. Now, you should have been writing those answers to those questions. So you want to make sure you make a list of those goals so that you can reflect on them as you navigate the course and as you go throughout the dating process, okay? And as your goals change, definitely feel free to make adjustments to your list. Now, that was the introduction, okay? That was the introduction. That was quite a bit. And with that just being the introduction, I know that you can probably imagine that this course really is about to be jam-packed full of gems and nuggets. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I am saying that because I know that I've put a lot of time and energy and effort into sharing with you guys the things that I think are most important when it comes to getting prepared for the dating process based on my experience as a matchmaker and coach, okay? I literally am a dating industry professional and I work with clients every single day. And these are things that I've come across over and over again. And when I get their date feedback and when I have those follow-up calls with them, this is the stuff that comes up. This is the stuff that I'm aware of that impacts the dating process. And I'm like basically out here just giving away the cheat code. Now, as you go through this course, if you find yourself at any point interested in coaching one-on-one with me, all you have to do is send me an email or DM or use the link that is found in any of my bios or on my website, which is datingwithdeandra.com, and you can schedule a consultation with me, okay? So let me know. Again, website datingwithdeandra.com, or either DM me, email me, or click the link in my bio on social media and schedule your consultation. Anyway, I'm Deandra. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you sticking in here with me. I know this was a lot of information and I'm really hoping that you got the best out of it. Feel free to play this video back as many times as you need to. Take as many notes as you need to. Don't be out here being stingy doing it all for yourself. Share it with your friends. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.